Alrighty, everybody. Looks like it is about time to get started today. Let's just give it a quick moment for those that are joining a little bit late to get in here. But before we get started today, just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Sam with the Eventbrite Boost CX team. And just to give you a little context, over the last 4 years, I've been helping event creators of all different types of events, all different sizes of events, use the power of social media marketing to help sell out their events. And today I want to share everything that I personally have learned about event marketing and explain what is Eventbrite Boost and how are you as Eventbrite creators enabled with a suite of tools that will allow you to better market your events. So, just to go over a brief agenda today, first and foremost, we're going to cover some common marketing challenges many of us face. Then, second, we're going to cover what exactly is Eventbrite Boost, what are the marketing tools accessible to me within Eventbrite, and then which tools are actually most useful for me, and then how do I use them in my strategy. So as we go along, I would love to make these interactive sessions. So if you have questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the chat. Or if I cover something a little bit too quickly and you have further questions, don't hesitate to ask. So let's go ahead and jump in. So first and foremost, generally most of us feel that event marketing is a really big challenge. And that we've found a broad number of reasons why many of us feel that way. First and foremost, it's difficult. What exactly is the best marketing campaign we should be running at any given point in time? And then, second, many tools are either out of our price range or weren't built for us in the event space. Even if we make the full plunge and try some of these tools, a lot of us just don't have enough time in the day to actually take a course like Facebook Blueprint or a course on Google Ads. And then, even when we run campaigns, a lot of times it's hard to make sense of the reporting or understand how is my investment in advertising actually translating to results like ticket sales and various other objectives. So you'll find Eventbrite Boost within the marketing tab of Eventbrite. So if you look for the megaphone icon on the left, this will take you into the marketing hub that lives within Eventbrite. Now, our main goal with Eventbrite Boost is to centralize all the various tools that you might need as an event creator so that you hopefully can find all the various tools you need to market your events in the exact same place on Eventbrite as where you are creating those events in the first place. So Boost contains a mix of various social media marketing tools and email marketing tools. So let's actually cover the various features to hopefully point you in the right direction of which features might be a good addition to your strategy that you might not be using, and then which features might not be the best use of your time. So on average, from what we found from a data perspective, creators that are using these tools in Boost are on average selling around 16% more tickets than Eventbrite creators that aren't. Now, this can even be as something simple as just running a Facebook event, so publishing your event to Facebook after creating it on Eventbrite, or this could be something like running a paid ad campaign to promote your events. Even the very little things that you do to promote your events can really go a long way in helping you drive ticket sales in the long run. So first and foremost, let's talk about the Facebook event feature. If there's any takeaway that I could give y'all watching today of one feature that you could use to get things started, I'd highly recommend after you create your event on Eventbrite, use the Facebook event feature to publish your event as a Facebook event. Now, the reason Facebook events are very important is that your customers can actually purchase tickets directly within that Facebook event. So it's a really frictionless purchasing process for them. But additionally, if your customers aren't ready to commit to making that purchase for your event, which many times we need to see an advertisement a couple different times before we commit to buying tickets for an event, Facebook events are going to help with remarketing and reminding your customers to make that purchase. It really only takes around 30 seconds to a minute to publish that Facebook event after you've created your Eventbrite event. So I'd highly recommend make one of the first steps that you do after you publish your event on Eventbrite. Go ahead and publish it to Facebook as well so you can start selling tickets and growing this RSVP base. Totally free for everybody to use, so I definitely recommend incorporate it in your marketing strategy if you haven't already been doing so. The next tool to talk about are the email campaign tools within Eventbrite. So generally when we're sending emails for event marketing, we're taking a very transactional approach. So we're generally just notifying our customer list or our past buyers about all the upcoming events we have on our roster, or maybe one event in particular. So the email tool in Eventbrite simply allows you to build customizable emails, including the various Eventbrite events that you have on sale and ticketing links to all those Eventbrite events. Now, these tools that you're using to send the emails are actually totally free. So you can send up to 2,000 emails a day for free if you are an Eventbrite user. And then if you are a paying Boost subscriber, you can actually send up to 6,000 emails a day. So for those of you that might have a relatively small list or might not be sending out a ton of emails, this should be an awesome cost saving tool compared to many other very expensive email platforms out there. And additionally, from what we found is click-through rates for these emails sent using Eventbrite Boost email tool generally on average have 20 to 30% higher click-through rates and open rates than average. And the reason being is you're tapping into Eventbrite's brand and what we have built in regards to our rapport for sending email. So your customers, when they receive those emails, it's less likely for those emails to go to spam and more likely for those emails to show up in your customer's inbox. So just to kind of recap, why might I be using this email tool? If I want to send out very easy to build and customizable emails about my upcoming Eventbrite events, if I want to send out emails for free, or even potentially send out more emails when I'm on a paid plan, then our emails generally have higher open rates than other email platforms as well. And what we'll be taking a main focus on today, everybody, is the Facebook and Instagram ad side of things. So, how to use the power of Facebook and Instagram ads to market your events. So, first and foremost, we'll cover what exactly is the difference between building a Facebook or Instagram ad in Eventbrite Boost compared to Facebook, and then ultimately how will this help, and then who is this good for as well. But before we move on, I don't know if any of you are throwing multiple events, but if you are probably throwing more than 5 events in any given location over the course of the month, I'd recommend check out the multi-event ad tool. It's a great way to set up an automated campaign that'll automatically market all of your events. So this is really only useful for those of you that are probably throwing more than 3 to 5 events in a single location over a month-long period. Cool. So let's take a look at a Facebook and Instagram ad campaign ran within Boost and just cover what are some of the reasons why you would actually want to use a service like this as compared to just going into Facebook and hitting a Boost button and doing all this for free. So first and foremost, normally when you run an ad on Facebook, you're not going to have good visibility into how your investment in advertising actually translates to results that you're looking for, like ticket sales. So our reporting looks a little bit different than Ads Manager. And one of the first things that you'll see towards the top is this creator spent around $300 on their campaign and they made around $5,000 back worth in ticket sales. So that was a 16x return on ad spend. So for every dollar they spent, they made close to around $16. So one thing our system does that's different than Facebook is first and foremost, you'll have the best reporting into how your ads actually translate to impact specifically for your events. So we'll automate installing all the tracking to help you tell, okay, how much money do I make back per dollar I invest on advertising? How does that lead to ticket sales? And we'll also give you other metrics that are more important for your event, such as how are we building remarketing audiences or how are we reaching new people in our area. So first point is how is this different than Facebook is one, you're going to get a lot better visibility into how your ads lead to sales and other important metrics compared to Ads Manager. The second is we're going to make you more money than if you were to spend that exact same advertising budget in Facebook. The reason being is normally when you run a campaign in Facebook or you hit a boost button, your campaign's doing a really good job going after new people. So people that are interested in things similar to your events. But when it comes to events, we really need to address remarketing. So we don't always buy tickets immediately after seeing the ad once. We need to have the ad shown to your customers multiple times. So what our system does on the back end is we actually Include multiple audiences, which is what an agency is going to do for you. So we're not putting all our eggs in one basket, and we're actually targeting things like remarketing audiences and your past buyers, these groups that are far more likely to purchase. And then our system moves budget from the bad performing audiences to the good performing audiences. So basically, without you having to spend more money on ads, we're actually doing a better job targeting, and we're making sure the budget is being spent on audiences that actually work. So on average, we make users generally around a 20% increase in the performance from their Facebook ads. So there is a monthly cost associated with using the Facebook or Instagram ad side, but our main goal is by increasing the performance and the amount of tickets that you drive via your ad campaigns, let's try to fully compensate the cost of using the platform. So, main reasons of why would you use this over just running your ad in Facebook is first and foremost, you'll get the best visibility into how your ad leads to ticket sales. Second, you're going to drive more ticket sales and get a better return on investment with the automated systems that we have in the backplace. And then lastly is we'll actually give you recommendations on what type of campaign you should be running. So didn't want to drag on too long with that, but it's a very valid question because you could go into Facebook and you could just hit boost and you could run an ad campaign very easily. But using a system like ours, it's going to take you a pretty similar amount of time. You're actually just going to get better returns due to the automation that we do on the side. So let's show you where you can find the ad campaign section within the Boost Marketing Hub. So if we flicked over to that marketing tab, we'll want to look for where it says paid social ads here in this section. And then if we go ahead and click on this, this is where we can get started to actually go ahead and create an ad campaign. So let's go ahead and jump into the ad creation process. We're getting towards the end of most of everything that we wanted to touch on today here. So if you have some extra questions or there's something that we could go a little more in context into, feel free to drop that in the chat today, guys. So the first step of creating your campaign is going to be defining what interests you would like to target. Now, this is what you've worked with before if you've built a campaign on Facebook and we're entering in your targeting. All we're simply doing here is we're going after and we're targeting people that are interested in topics related to your event. So we'll automatically populate some interest automatically into the box for you. So this creator that we're advertising right here, we're advertising music and concerts, so you can see it automatically pulled in some interest here in this section. But I always in this section could type in any other interests that I feel are relevant to our event. So generally there's no right or wrong answers to how many interests you have in this box. But generally, the main things you want to check off your box, y'all, is you want to make sure you have an appropriately sized audience. So in most geolocations, trying to have an audience of above 100,000 people, unless you're in the middle of North Dakota in a town of 500 people, you might as well just target everybody around you. Then the next box, we're filling in what's the age that we would like to configure here. So do we want to hit all ages or people 18 and up, 21 and up? And then we'll automatically pull in the location of your Eventbrite events. And then generally, we're using the same types of target audiences from campaign to campaign. So it's really easy to save this mix of audiences if we foresee us using the same type of targeting for future ad campaigns. Then in the next section, we're simply setting the budget. So you can either choose a total or a per day budget. Doesn't make any difference on performance whatsoever. And then we're choosing the start and end dates for our ad campaign. And the final step of building out our ad campaign is just customizing the ad creative that we want to use. So first and foremost, you choose, do you want to send people to an Eventbrite event? And if so, which Eventbrite event? And then, or do we want to be sending people to a Facebook event or a URL of our choice? Now, you're generally going to want to send people straight to the Eventbrite event if you are probably in a period where there's a lot of urgency for people to buy for that event. Or if you want to advertise and you're a ways out from the event, you have a big demographic on Facebook, you might want to try the Facebook event ads as they are a really happy medium between and also building engagement and awareness as well. So up towards the top, you can always add in an additional variation of the image or video that you're using here in this section. So if we wanted to add in an additional image, very easy for us to do so here and then add in that image. But for the most part, you'll probably want to stick to maybe 1 to 2 variations of the image or video that you're using. You don't have to A/B test if you don't happen to have it. And then after that, you're filling out the post text for your ad. This is our chance to give whoever's coming across our ad context on what's our event about, when's our event happening, where's our event happening, and is there any sort of urgency that me as a consumer might not know about. So, for example, is your event very close to selling out, or is there a special guest, or is there something that just by chance of somebody looking at the image or video, is there context that's important for them to make their decision that they're not getting right at a glance? So I'd recommend always feel free to rework the sample text that we have here in this section to bring in language that's going to make more sense and fit in more with your brand. And then scrolling down further, normally the link headline and link description, these are an afterthought in many different ads that you end up encountering. Generally, we're paying most attention to the image or video, so try to use a good image or video to lead with. But y'all, that actually is the last step of creating our ad campaign. Just wanted to take a brief pause here. Does anybody have any questions or anything we could cover a little bit better today? Thank you for bearing with my voice as well. We got lower braces in last week, so it's a little bit harder to talk than usual. So I appreciate y'all tuning in for today's session and for putting up with my voice today. So y'all, just to recap, if you're looking for good free marketing tools to use, I'd highly recommend get started with the Facebook event or the share on social and the email campaign features. And then beyond there, I'd recommend try out a Facebook or Instagram ad campaign to promote your event when you're in a good timing period to actually end up promoting your event. And beyond that, y'all, the final step of setting up your ad campaign is choosing what's the ad account and Facebook page we want to finance and run that campaign from, and then you'll get a recap of who did we choose to target, what audiences were we using in our campaign, and then what creatives were we using as well. So thank y'all very much for tuning in for today's short session. We'll be expanding these to cover some other features a little bit more in depth down the road, but just wanted to thank you all very much for taking the time. We'll be back here again next Thursday covering the exact same material. So everybody have a good one and take care.